What's up, Unbroken Nation? Hello, my friends. I'm Michael Unbroken, host of the Think Unbroken podcast and founder of ThinkUnbroken.com. And I'm honored to be your trauma coach and mentor because I believe that everyone is capable of getting unstuck, cultivating self-love, and becoming the hero of their own story. I believe that when implemented correctly, the practical tools and education you will receive from this show will help you lead an unbroken and extraordinary life. I believe that no matter what we come from, that we all have the ability to choose ourselves first, to create and manifest a powerful and grace-filled future and love the reflection in the mirror. I believe that every day is a day to grow, learn, heal, and change. That's why I started my company, ThinkUnbroken.com, which is an online training and healing and personal growth platform where you get everything that I know about how to get motivated, be accountable, get out of the vortex, and become the hero of your own story through community, connection, and commitment. For more information, visit ThinkUnbroken.com. Please listen closely as you may learn just one thing that will help you be unbroken. And please share this episode with at least 3 of your friends because we all need community and connection in our healing journey. And be sure to DM me and tag me on Instagram at Michael Unbroken so that I can say hi. I just want to thank you again for being a part of this, for listening and being a member of the Unbroken Nation. Now, let's get into today's show and make the world unbroken.
Panic. All you need is the plan, the roadmap, and the courage to press on to your destination. Earl Nightingale. Your mindset is quite literally the most powerful tool in your arsenal as you begin to heal from trauma. Your mindset can help you navigate even the most torturous thoughts and actions by being a safety valve. Once you know how to tap into working with and understanding your thoughts, you take a huge step forward. The practice of mindfulness is a daily practice for a reason, especially in the scope of trauma recovery. One morning you may wake up, feel amazing, and be ready to take on the world. The next morning you may wake up feeling depressed for seemingly no reason and want to end it all. I know these thoughts firsthand. The key determining factor in how your days, weeks, months, and ultimately your life play out is the way that you utilize your mind. As with other parts of healing trauma, you have to give yourself the space to take a deep dive inward. You have to allow yourself the permission to use your mind for good. Many trauma warriors, myself included, have brains and bodies that store and process trauma on a daily basis while being triggered by the outside world and ricocheted between CPTSD, varying mental health disorders, and the general chaos of life. The pressure that we feel is tenfold as the thoughts and imagery of our past often sits with us. Have you ever had a panic attack the moment that you found yourself alone, undistracted, and not shifting your attention anywhere else in particular? Your mind is the most powerful tool you have because when you learn to work with it, you can control how you respond to everything that happens in your life. Imagine that the next time a thought that would normally send you to the floor in a panic attack instead did not. A panic attack could easily be the definition for loss of control, especially in those moments when it feels like the world is caving in on you. Here's a scenario. You are sitting at the beach and the sun is setting. The sky is a beautiful fiery red and the breeze is sweeping over your body as you drink a coconut. Suddenly, a child playing with a sibling screams for help as her brother is burying her in the sand. The children are playing, but that scream warps you back to a moment in which you screamed for help. Now, you are trapped in a memory, and the vortex has you again. In a moment, you have gone from having the time of your life to shaking in the sand. It may seem far-fetched, but this is the exact moment in which you can use your mindset to totally control the outcome of this scenario. This is how you can use your mind to control panic in that moment. Do not fight the incoming thoughts. The harder you fight the imagery coming into your present moment, the more that it wants to get in. Instead, sit with the thoughts and simply allow them to exist. Begin to scan your body. The mind and body become dissociated during a panic attack. When that happens, start at your toes and work your way to the top of your head, identifying every body part along the way. This is not only a meditative practice, but it will also help you calm your mind. Remind yourself that you are not dying. This is key, and the place where your mind control will show its true strength. Gently tell yourself aloud, I am not dying. This will pass. I am safe. By speaking to yourself, you're interrupting the panic, not by getting rid of it, but by instead reminding yourself that you are safe. And breathe. Finding your breath will help you calm your central nervous system, or CNS. Studies have shown that by implementing a breathing practice into your daily life, you will be able to call upon it during moments of panic. I recommend that you find whatever breathing method works best for you. In the meantime, I'm going to share the breathing method that works best for me. There are many different breathing practices, and I have found that while some have benefits, I could never find one that truly calmed me. So, I took the pieces that seemed to work the best and stuffed them together into my open, exist, control breathing, or OEC. O is for open. Breathe in for a count of 4. E is exist. Hold that breath for a 5 count. This is a place that mindfulness comes into play. Breathing is an autonomic system that is heightened, especially when we are triggered and fight, flight, or freeze, or FFF kicks in. But in controlling it, you can get yourself back to center. C is control. Exhale your breath for a 7 count. The exhale is when our bodies become less tense and relaxation begins. Control the release of your breath in a slow, methodical manner. Being able to control your mind in pivotal moments of your day-to-day life is a critical step in healing. I wish that I would have had access to this practice when I was having multiple panic attacks a day. Now I know how to handle them when they arise. I no longer constantly fear experiencing an unpredictable attack. I still experience attacks, and I don't know that they will ever go away. But with these steps and breathing practices that I have created, I feel confident that I will be able to continue to keep them at bay, or to allow them to pass. Becoming unbroken. OEC breathing method. Learning to control your breath can help you navigate anxiety, depression, panic, and fear. The breath, as we know and as we continue to learn, is one of the most important human functions for regulating the flow of chemicals released in the brain. Now, as we head into this exercise, I want you to just pause for a moment and think about this. On a scale of 1 through 5, 1 being that you are very calm and 5 being that you are very anxious or stressed out, what words come to mind about how you feel in this moment? Now, what I want you to do is join me as we practice OEC, or Open Exist Control Breathing. We're just going to go through this a couple of times. And one of the things that I've discovered in this practice is that there is a deep sense of calm and awareness that comes around when I step into this breathing, because I still get triggered all the time. You probably relate, whether it's at work or home or school or on the street or on the bus or wherever it may be. There's something that may heighten us and send us into this hypervigilant mode, thus inciting a potential panic attack. And I want you to be able to be equipped for when this moment comes, because if I've learned anything about this process, though I've done so much work, sometimes we still have to rely on these tools. And this is a tool that I want you to take with you, that you can carry with you at any time in your life. Now, after this, I want you to pause and do this 10 times. So again, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being very calm, 5 being very stressed out or anxious right now, where are you at in this moment? And after this, I'm going to have you ask yourself the same question. I'm going to go through this once with you, and then I want you to do it 10 times on your own. And then ask yourself, how do I feel at this moment? So first we start with open. We're going to breathe in for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exist is about the hold. So you're going to hold this breath for a count of 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on the exhale, we control, breathing out for a count of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I want you to pause and repeat this practice 10 times and come back and see how you feel. Hey, Unbroken Nation, a quick pause in today's episode to tell you about the brand new Think Unbroken app. That's right, I just released a brand new app in the App Store that you can take the first course in the Think Unbroken curriculum, The 5 Keys to Healing Trauma. It's a 7-day course for free. All you have to do is go into your App Store right now. You can pause this video and search Think Unbroken. That's on both Apple and Android. And you can take the Think Unbroken 5 Keys to Healing Trauma 7-day course for free. This is daily coaching from me. It's daily activities, daily check-ins. I built this course in this app specifically to bring huge value to you in your life, where you're at and what you're trying to do and going next and becoming the hero of your own story. So check out the App Store again, Apple and Android. Just simply search Think Unbroken and you will see the Think Unbroken app. And until next time, my friend, be unbroken. Flashbacks and triggers. If you don't deal with your demons, they will deal with you. And it's gonna hurt. Nikki 6. The feeling of terror from being thrown into an unassociated memory of the past not only fuels further disconnections from the self, but also creates a dual reality through dissociation. Flashbacks are powerful, as they are memories recalled involuntarily. The body experiences the memory of a past event as though it were happening in the present. The brain loses the capacity to differentiate what is happening in real life and what occurred 20 years ago. Flashbacks often occur more often in trauma survivors and people diagnosed with CPTSD and PTSD. Before the term PTSD, or complex and post-traumatic stress disorder, was coined, many referred to survivors of traumatic experiences as shell-shocked or having been shell-shocked. These survivors were primarily war veterans, but as you are discovering, war can also take place in the home. Child abuse is war. In my experience, flashbacks are often triggered, meaning that there was an underlying reason in which a state of calm suddenly becomes a state of life or death. Certain things that people say or do, streets, names, and even foods can cause the brain to flood with the feeling of being back in a traumatic moment. Sometimes these moments are more kind, like when the whiff of a familiar perfume permeates the air and reminds you of a happy time with a partner, or the taste of bacon cooked a certain way that reminds you of Saturday mornings at grandma's house. Those moments tend to be fleeting, and within seconds they are gone, and we can move on. So why is it that when we are triggered negatively, those feelings can stay with us for hours or even days? Being triggered is the brain's response to memories that have not been associated and placed where they need to be in the psyche. The memories, in essence, are incomplete stories that have not been cataloged by the brain. Think of them like spirits or ghosts that are trapped in purgatory and must finish a mission before they can fully move into the afterlife. That is how I think about flashback memories. They have not been fully processed and thus cannot be stored. Instead, they sit with us and come out of nowhere when triggered by our environment. Understanding what triggers you and why those triggers cause you to have a flashback will help you navigate moments in which a flashback occurs. I can understand as an adult in my current environment that I am safe. However, it is in the routine of daily life in which we find ourselves triggered. For instance, if I reach into the kitchen cabinet to take out a dish and it happens to be wet, I will instantly be transported into the night that my stepfather pulled my brothers and I out of bed and beat us for putting away wet dishes. In that moment, I can feel fear and terror sweep over me. I can feel my heart begin to race, my muscles tense, my ears ring, and the overwhelming feeling that I want to vomit. My subconscious makes this moment feel real because I experience a chemical and physical reaction from this memory. Triggers can be everywhere when we are in a constant state of hyperarousal. Literally anything and everything can be a trigger. And the worst part about that is that something totally unexpected can send you into a fit of panic or a full-blown flashback. Understanding your triggers and why they affect you can become paramount. Here are some of the most common triggers. People being dismissive of your emotions. A coworker criticizing you. Your partner telling you that your feelings are not valid. Being sexualized. Failing or not reaching a goal. Arguments. Unwanted physical touch. Seeing a violent film. Songs that were playing during traumatic experiences. And more. My memory of being beaten in the middle of the night was just one of a litany of flashbacks that I would experience on a weekly basis. There were even days that I would have multiple flashbacks, leaving me in a state of unrest and complete dissociation. Those days would be particularly difficult because I could not seem to get back to center. Other moments could lead to weeks of manic depression, suicidal thoughts, and self-medication as ways to numb my reaction. You may relate to the feeling of hating the experience of the pain manifested from flashbacks. How do you navigate flashbacks when you can't control when they happen? The simple answer is to mitigate the risk by getting ahead of them through associating memories, instilling healthy practices, and identifying what triggers you. I began to reassociate the memories of my past through writing, talk therapy, yoga, bodywork, and meditation. Each memory that would expose itself through a flashback was one I knew was incomplete and needed to be pieced together. Connecting a feeling to the flashback memory was the only way to process and store it so that it could become fully integrated. There are many ways to assign feeling to a memory, and like most of your healing journey, you will discover through trying different modalities of understanding yourself and piecing the memories together what works best for you. I have found that writing has been my best resource for processing my dissociated memories. It has been through writing that I have been able to release the impact of flashbacks. I have also found a great sense of peace in my life through the process of writing. I began writing about my past, the true, unadulterated, and unedited version, in a leather-bound journal. The first stages of this methodology were extremely difficult for me, and at times, the process of putting pen to paper would trigger me and send me into bouts of rage or a complete emotional breakdown. I was willing to step into whatever came from this practice because I was desperate for something to work. While I welcomed the tears and the anger that came with writing, I did not understand what was happening internally until one of the men in my group therapy pointed out something profound. He told me I was afraid to be angry. As I sat with this idea, I argued his point being invalid, stating that I wasn't angry about my past. Eventually, the truth from that conversation emerged. I was not only angry, but fucking enraged. His prompt gave me the power to begin to attach the feelings of rage and anger to my past experiences. Experiences I was entirely disconnected from in childhood and adolescence. The power of finding a way to reconnect the emotions of past events with the appropriate feelings is like finding the right pieces of the puzzle and putting them where they belong. I felt like I could have opened Pandora's box in the process of this practice. And because of that, it was important that I had the support of the men's group and the weekly sessions with my therapist, along with my coach, to navigate this new arena of emotional understanding. Through writing, I was able to associate my memories with feelings of frustration, sadness, mourning, sorrow, regret, anger, fear, hopelessness, and abandonment. Giving yourself the space to acknowledge those feelings and understand the impact is your superpower. I highly suggest that you begin the process of associating with the guidance of a coach, trained proctor, or professional who can help you process give you the appropriate feedback, and can support your journey. There is no question that having the support of multiple therapists and an amazing community was a huge piece of my puzzle in conjunction with writing, meditation, yoga, and educating myself about trauma. It is important to understand how to navigate triggers as they arise, especially if you do not have the access or resources to seek environmental supports like a therapist or trauma mentor. Being able to stop a trigger in its tracks may keep flashbacks at bay. Here are 3 steps to managing being triggered. 1. Identify what has happened. You'll have to be able to figure out what the hell is going on. You're going to have to take a deep dive into yourself, which will require a lot of vulnerability and honesty. Are you upset because of what someone said or did? Is it really their words that have hurt you, or is it your perception of yourself? Maybe it's the way that someone touched you, or an old photo that brought up the past. Once you can identify why you have been triggered, you will be able to shift to the other side of the trigger. When triggered, the first thing you must ask is, what has affected me enough to change my mental state? 2. Keep your head on. Being triggered can throw you into a further dissociative state. In a moment, you can go from being present to having a complete out-of-body experience, flashback, or panic attack. Take notice of what is happening in your body. Did your heart rate change? Are your ears ringing? Has it become hard to breathe? Are your fists clenched? Or is it hard to think clearly? Being triggered has put you into fight, flight, or freeze. What emotional response are you having? Is it anger, fear, loathing, hate, sadness, or anxiety? Is that emotion unfounded, or is it serving you? 3. Make a choice. The outcome of being triggered is a choice. Are you fucking crazy? How is that a choice? I know what you are thinking, but stay with me. When you are triggered, you have the ability to decipher what happened and the emotional and physical response that you are currently having. Once you are able to understand why you have been impacted, you have the ability to continue to be triggered or to accept that you must move through that moment and choose to get back to center. You are the only person responsible for your emotional state. Is the response that you are experiencing bringing you any real value, or is it in your way? The impact of flashbacks and being triggered can be mitigated by taking steps to become reassociated, seeking environmental supports, and becoming intensely vulnerable with yourself.
Unbroken Nation, hope that you just got a tremendous amount of value from today's episode. I want to know what you think. Please do me a favor and review, rate, and share the episode with 3 friends on social media today. It would mean the world if you did, because ultimately at the end of the day, creating community and connection is how we heal generational trauma in the world, and I need your help to do that, Unbroken Nation. So if you're on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you are, please like, comment, share, review. I want to know not only what you like about the show, but how I can make the show better, how I can make this further about helping you on your healing journey. So do me a favor, and when you do, shoot me a screenshot of you making the review to my DM at Michael Unbroken on Instagram so that I can have a conversation with you, say hi, and more importantly, so I can share it with the Unbroken Nation. Thank you so much, my friend.